Welcome. Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the series of top 10 mass market decks. And I decided to do this in three parts. Top 10 mass market Lenormand. And there is a corresponding indie self-published version of each video as well too. The Lenormand one is yet to come. I have all the decks here, so I'll be filming that shortly. There will be a thumbnail up over the next couple of days. So that will be the sixth one in this series. And then I will begin to pare it down and I would like to offer some top fives. Because I think it's important that we have um, it's good to know the all-time favorite decks of people who use decks all the times, and I would like to share that with you. And using a combination of both indie and mass market decks, so that I can give you a really good picture there as well too. But let's get to the Lenormand decks, and I have 10 mass market ones that have made the cut. I have a few over here as well too that yeah, there's a couple of reasons why they're not in this video. So hopefully these 10 will, you'll find a couple here that you will be able to work with if you're new to Lenormand. And also if you're new to Lenormand, I do have a series. A Lenormand series that was really great. We had some super conversations, and there's lots and lots of lessons. Most of the videos are members only features, but please be sure, and I'm not sure if I linked it down below, but please be sure to check that out if you're interested in studying Lenormand. Okay, let's get to the cards. All right, and welcome. Welcome. Oh, who is here today? So Jen is here. Welcome, Jen. Welcome back. And Sunny. And Donna, what is Donna saying here? I'm really looking forward to this one as I've been in the mood to buy a Lenny deck. Well, I think that the next video is the one that's really going to tempt you, but we'll see. And Dee, welcome back. Hello to you as well too. Leo, Donna, you make me laugh. All right. I'm going to start with number 10 as Rana George. The reason I initially started working with the Rana George deck was because of her reputation as a reader. This is a US, I'm just going to show you the box. It's one of these horrible two-part boxes. Rana George comes from a lineage of tarot readers. And the little white book that comes with this is excellent as well too, but I would strongly recommend if this artwork resonates with you, or even if it doesn't, there is a larger resource book that is excellent if you're new to Lenormand. And her take on Lenormand is a little bit different than somebody like Kathleen Matthews or some of the other ones that are very popular out there. This deck has lots of gold on it. I guess it's a Lenormand video. We need to zoom in. These are the card backs, and all of the cards are set in a frame. And this has, I believe this is from the Lebanese culture. There are an abundance of extra cards that go with this deck, and I don't have any of the extra cards for any of these decks on the table. I tend to put them away. Lenormand decks do come with a lot of extra cards, and I just find they get in the way. Very seldom do I go and switch them out. And I'll show you when we get to a couple of the boxes. So some of the boxes are very well designed, so you can hide the extra cards in the box. But because there are so many that go with this particular deck, I don't have them in the box. I believe that all of the decks I'm sharing with you here today have playing card insets, and that is either playing card little glyphs or playing card insets is an important part of my Lenormand reading style. And even though, for the most part, I have memorized uh, what playing card is associated with which particular card, it's good to have it on there. And I definitely, when I'm doing a reading, am looking for repetition of number. I'm looking for reds and blacks. I'm looking for the interaction of the playing card court card associations as well too. So this one ticks off the boxes in a lot of areas. I really do like the artwork. The frames are a bit much, but it has a really nice feel to it. And also when I'm reading with Rana's deck, I feel like I'm um, this might seem like a funny thing to say, but I love the fish card. I feel as if I'm reading with a lineage of readers. Like the person who designed this deck honestly comes from a lineage of Lenormand readers and people who have been working with this modality for a long time. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Round of George Lenormand, and yes, I would also recommend her book as well too. That is my number 10. And it has to do with the frames. That's one of the reasons why it's at 10. Now, this one, many of you have the Dreaming Way tarot deck. Now, this one has a quite a different look to it, but it is the same artist and the same creator as the Dreaming Way tarot. And this is a very whimsical little deck. The playing card associations are on the title bar at the bottom. And there is an indie deck that this looks very similar to, and I actually prefer this one um, to the similar looking indie deck, and that is the Tanis Lenormand. And I did a side by side of the Dreaming Way and the Tanis, and I actually prefer this one. And I'll tell you why when we get to a couple of the cards. If this, if you like this kind of color palette. And to tell you the honest truth, I prefer this one to Jamie Sawyer's tarot, Jamie Sawyer's Lenormand as well too. It's bright, and I think that garden card is very charming. I love the sun card. The sun card is brilliant. The fish is a little odd, I have to say that. The choices card, the crossroads card, is kind of cool. Let me just go this way. Now, the coffin in the sardine can is a bit strange, I have to admit that one. But if you are looking for a contemporary mass market deck, this one does tick off a few boxes. The dog card is very sweet. And there's one other that I wanted to show you. They're all sort of in the same mood. And this is the one that gets the most conversation. The rider is not facing in the same direction as the horse. So that's a little bit pretty cute card. It's funny, with this deck, I just started thinking that one of my daughters, my youngest daughter, is interested in starting to read, and this would be a really good deck for her. I might put this aside and start doing some Lenormand readings with her. That is just she's 15. She's 15, but I could see this being a really good deck for younger readers as well too. All right, so that's the Dreaming Way. Now I'm going to go in a completely slightly different direction. And this is one that I used quite a bit in the fall. This is the Malafiq Lenormand, and it is has really cool artwork. And yes, it does have playing card associations. It kind of has a, I don't know. I think it has a kind of a Halloween vibe, and that was the season that I had it out. I think this hard card is pretty cool. Sun. I With clouds cards, if it is not abundantly clear if clouds are left or right, that can be a bit problematic, and this is one of those situations. But if you look very, very closely, the weather is changing on the right side of the card. Mhm. I don't know if you noticed, I changed the thumbnail for this video just a few minutes ago because some of the cards I had put in the thumbnail were actually not mass market decks. The man is the devil. So yeah, this is a different, a very specific flavor, and to me, this is kind of fun for a particular season. That's the child card. It has a fantasy quality to it. And instead of mice, we have rats. And the dog also looks kind of scary. There's the house card. I have to say, this star card I find very stunning. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at the coffin card, but I think it's funny. Yeah. So it's a particular flavor, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. All right, so that is number 8, number 7. Malafiq Lenormand. And I have a feeling I have, maybe not. I'm just looking. So the artist's name is, it's a German name. I don't know if you can see it. Gneedman. I'm just wondering. I have a feeling that artist I have seen other things from. All right. So the next one is the Mirror Truth by Sylvia Anne Marie, also a German name, Knightsner. And I find this to be a very pretty deck. The only thing that I don't like about this deck is that it is almost tarot size. They are a little bit large. So the Rana George, which is standard size Lenormand, you can see these are much bigger cards. And this is pretty much the largest size Lenormand deck that I would ever use. I do not. So, for example, the Pagan Lenormand, I don't have that. I didn't purchase it because while the art is beautiful, the cards are just way too big. And the only one that I have that is larger than this is the Art Nouveau Lenormand. I almost never use it. This is the Clouds card. I really like this deck. And it also has playing card associations. Quite a clever tree card. I'm actually going to leave this one out. I haven't had it out for a little while, and I'm loving this art. The stars is very stunning. This reminds me of a scene from, it feels like Mary Poppins or something. The garden is kind of lonely, um, which is a different vibe. And if you are not familiar with Lenormand, I think it's important to not start with a deck like this, because there, for example, in that Lily card, there's a house, there's a scene in the background, and I know it says Lily right on the front, but it might be kind of confusing. The Crossroads card has a tree. It almost looks like a snake. So there's only a single obvious path. So I would just suggest this is not a great beginner Lenormand, but I really like it. Um, yeah. Let's see if there's any others that are calling to me here. The key, it's pretty cool. It's got this keyhole on it. There's the sun card. Dog. Mhm. There's the gentleman. Yeah. So this is the Mirror Truth Lenormand. Okay. Excuse me. The mice card in this deck creeps you out. This one? I have one of similar size, the Thelema Lenormand. Okay. I don't have the Thelema Lenormand. I had at one point I don't know if it's the same photorealistic art. I'm thinking of the Thelema Tarot. All right, so I've shown you all of those, and now I have one, two. So these are my top five. These are my top five, and I'm going to say that I have included Lisa Hunt's deck here. So this is like a tarot in a tin, US Games tin, and this is a really sweet deck. The only thing that I would say is that if you're tempted to start reading in terms of the fairy tale itself, this is not a deck for you because Lenormand is Lenormand. There's gentlemen from two different fairy tales. I really like this one. I don't think I can get any closer. If you close your eyes, I can pull this closer to the table. It's going to move. Okay, sorry, kind of unprofessional. There we go, a little bit closer. I really like Lisa Hunt's artwork, and some of these pictures are a little complex, but I think overall it has a very neutral palette, and the playing card associations are very easy to read. Donna, I have two traditional decks in the top five. I really like that tree card. Of course, the rider. It's a beautiful interpretation of the rider. I find, in general, fairy tale tarot decks very difficult to work with, but this one, because in Lenormand, a fox is a fox and a key is a key, it's not necessary to be interpreting the fairy tale that is contained within the card, the anchor. And another really gorgeous stars card. The bouquet is very pretty as well too. And the fish is kind of this magical underworld underworld scene. I forgot how much I like this one. I really like that the stork is taking off here. Yeah, and a little fairy sleeping in the clover. So it's kind of pretty, beautiful, actually. Yeah. Mm. Like the clouds card as well too. So that is the Fairy Tale Lenormand. By artwork is by Lisa Hunt, and there is a little guidebook book as well by Arwen Lynch. All right, so I have two traditional and two non-traditional in the top four. I feel like I've missed one uh, because I haven't shared Pixies Astounding Lenormand. So I think my numbering is a little bit off. I will fix this up later when I put them all in the description box below. Okay. Um, this is Pixies Astounding Lenormand. And I think if you are a tarot reader, this is a fun deck to have. Before I even read the little guidebook that comes with this, because the answers are in the little guidebook, I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out where in the tarot deck a lot of this art occurs. And if you're interested in this deck, you should know that this is a combination uh, of art from the RWS deck as well as other art by Pamela Coleman Smith. So it's not all from the tarot deck. And it's also a bit of a collage. So the rainbow comes from one card, the ship in the background comes from another card, or sorry, that's trees. The clover comes from a different card. And it's kind of fun actually to play a game of to figure out which cards they're actually from. So you'll know that none of the writers carry a caduceus in Pixie's art, and so in this deck, the caduceus obviously comes from a different card. Okay, so it's kind of fun. I actually have two copies of this. I trimmed one copy of it. Um, and it didn't work out very well because the backs of the cards are not lined up, or at least they weren't in the copy that I have. So yeah, so this is if you are doing a two voice reading with an RWS deck, this is a great deck to have to work in combination with that. Pixies Astounding Lenormand. And it's also fun. It's a fun way to also get to know some of the symbols that are lost and tiny in the Witsmith deck. All right. Now we'll get to the top four. And I have two traditional and two non-traditional decks here. And the two traditional decks that are my favorite, like Donna mentioned, are the Piatnik and the Bluebird. And I very much like both of these decks, and I'm going to take them both out. I think the Bluebird, honestly, is my favorite. I love the little poems that are there. Um, there's just something about that that feels kind of special. And I actually put the catnip into order, and I very quickly did a side by side because I also have the owl deck, and I was just reminding myself why I like the Piatnik over the owl deck, and it has to do with a couple of the cards, but yeah. So this is the Piatnik deck. This is the Bluebird deck. So another difference between the Piatnik and the Owl deck is that the court cards are colored in that one, and this one you see paintings. There's something very old school and traditional about the Bluebird deck. I use the Piatnik all the time. I have to say that there's something about the Bluebird that I find kind of special. Yeah, and I love the paintings for the court cards. Hmm. And this is really helpful for me to have a animal snake on the card and to see the playing card inset rather than just the cue. There's something about that that makes it, for me, easier to read. I There's a couple of decks that I don't use, because in that card, the Queen of Clubs, it's a picture of a seductress, and that's not how I read that card. While that may be a quality of the Queen of Clubs, I find it really distracting, um, to read it that way. Yeah. So yeah, so on the left is the Piatnik, and these are, of course, are very inexpensive little Lenormand decks. And on the right is the Bluebird. Okay. And if for any reason I do not have a complete walkthrough of any of these decks and you want to see the entire deck, let me know and come back later and leave a comment, and I'll make sure to do a complete walkthrough of the deck um, that you would like to see. Okay. All right. My and these are not really in order because I use all of these decks. And I have to say that the next video that is coming up over the next couple of days, the indie version of Lenormand, I tend to use many of those more than some of these, but the top two here are definitely favorite mass market Lenormands. I had Chloe McCracken. She is a very sweet person, and she has an entire series. She used to be quite a regular on YouTube, um, doing both tarot and Lenormand, and she's a great teacher. She uses this flip chart and explains all of the cards really well. This is the art of Will Worthington, who most of you know from Druidcraft and Wildwood Tarot, and so he illustrated the Celtic Lenormand by Chloe McCracken. And this is a beautiful, beautiful deck. I'm not sure which extra cards. Oh, so this is what I'm talking about. So in this box design, it's easy. I believe the extra cards are underneath here. I believe this flips out, yes. So I have the extra cards here. And these are the extra cards I may as well show you. I believe this deck has 3 bird cards. And there is one snake that is shedding its skin and one that is not. And there is another bird card. And like many decks, there are alternate lady and gentleman cards. There is a female rider as an alternate card. And there is a holly and the ivy. I believe there's a winter and a summer tree. And the cat is in instead of the dog, it's not an additional card, and then there's an additional child card as well too. So these are ones that presently aren't in the deck the version of the deck that I'm using. It's too bad Chloe's not making videos anymore. She was really, really good. All right, so I'll go through some of these. I love this. I love the artwork. I love the scenery, and there's a different take on some of these cards. If you haven't seen it before, there's a lot of conversation I find around open book versus closed book. Do you read it the same? Do you read it differently? One of the keywords for the book is secrets, and so a closed book is a bit more traditional, but I say that, and then in some of the older decks as well too, there's an open book. So in this deck, it's closed. It's clover. Because the stork refers to change, it is really nice if there is a stork in flight. And I love this coffin card. While it's not a box where you can read it directionally, I find this very magical, this particular um, tome, if you will. I love the Celtic cross, the way that it's on top of a little mound of rocks. Yeah. And instead of a bouquet, we have a bunch of wildflowers out in the field. So this is not the garden card. This is the bouquet card where you can see it's number 9. There are no titles on this deck. So if you're new and you haven't um, learned the card associations, that's the only thing that might be difficult. So it's just a tree. The fish is a great card. I really like this deck. I would say this one and Anna Kay, which is an indie deck, is they're ones that I use a lot. This is the Tower, which is a really interesting take on the Tower. And Ship. Very different lily card. Lily of the, or a different species of lily in the lily of the valley, I don't know, but this is the lily card. Um, yeah, I like this deck a lot. This is a problematic card for some people. This is the heart card. So 2 shells are sitting on top of this rock here. There's something really special about this card. So I want to show you its counterpart. Um, there's almost a magical story that unfolds. And while Lenormand is Lenormand, and it's not really um, open to interpretation of the scenery. Like if you just look at the scenery, there's just a story that unfolds here, and I really like this deck. So instead of the ring, there is a hand fasting card. Yeah, so there's that one. Love the Crossroads card, but that's not what I wanted to show you. That's the Crossroads card. So a standing stone on either side of the path. Just give me 1 second here while I figure out what I wanted to share. And it had to do with a visualization of the scenery. And oh, this is the garden. So we have a picnic instead of the garden. I love that card. And the stars. So we have a sailor with a sextant on the ship. So that's kind of fun interpretation. There's the shedding snake. What did I want to share? Okay, well, I guess I can't. I swore it was in this deck. Oh well, I'm just going to leave it with that. So yeah, this is definitely a favorite. The Tower, Coffin, and House on the Celtic Lenormand. I always have to double check the numbers to be which it is. And maybe that's what I was thinking. The other, so I want to say that this is definitely a top three mass market, the Celtic Lenormand. So I want to say this one and Bluebird for sure, and the Piatnik. So these three. And the other mass market, this is the last deck that I'm showing you today, that I think is a really great deck to have is the Maybe Lenormand. And it's just a fun collection of cards. And I believe I have sorted this. So there are 36 cards on the top. This is another one of those boxes where you can hide cards underneath. This is a 52 card deck, so 52 playing card deck. And so the remainder of the deck is extra cards. And this very clever creator, Ryan Edward, who also did Playing Marseille, I believe, um, has added Lenormand associations for all the other cards. So if you don't read Lenormand, we only have in Lenormand the six, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, and Ace. And the remainder of the cards are not part of the Lenormand deck. But what you have here is a 52 card deck. And so you can use this deck as playing cards, but if you could also use it as an oracle. And I think it's just, I love the whimsical artwork. It is, it's a fun playing card deck to have, and you can use it as a Lenormand deck. So there is your cross. That's a fun child card. And it is very whimsical. Some of them are not the easiest to interpret, so you kind of need to know what it is that you are looking at. And it's fun because the artwork on the playing card insets is in the same style as the artwork that's on the card itself. Um, I don't know what it is about this deck that I like so much. Perhaps on a traditional Lenormand deck, the playing card insets don't necessarily match the artwork that's on the card. And so there's something about this that I really like. Look at the dog. And I have to say, if you are looking for a Lenormand deck that has non-binary, this is really good. It's nice and clear. Non-binary lady and gentleman cards. So the significator cards aren't defined as lady and gentleman. That indie Lenormand decks do a much better job in that department. Yeah. Mm. The mice is so cute. Yeah. So this is maybe Lenormand. Uh-oh. Are you shopping? Mhm. All right. So those are the top 10 mass market Lenormand decks that I have in my library. And if you have questions about other ones that I'm not sharing, I'm also happy to comment on that later. And if there's any of these decks that you would like to see in completeness, let me know and I can make an additional video. I will be back very soon. Not today. I need to take down the Christmas lights with, and there's a lot of them, and I haven't decided which ones are going to make the top 10. I have quite a collection of self-published Lenormand decks, and the latest one, actually, um, a little. I'm not. I won't be using it. I'm going to pass it on and gift it. I have a brand new one called the Pink Sugar Lenormand, which I will probably share on a Wednesday walkthrough. I obviously didn't preview it enough. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. And yes, I don't have. Is it called the Color Lenormand or the Color and Story Lenormand? Kelly Fitzgerald, who is a wonderful contributor to the tarot community on YouTube, created her own Lenormand deck, and I don't have that one. That would be a great one to pick up as well too. Yeah. So I want to wish you a lovely rest of your weekend, and I'll see some of you on Tuesday. Namaste.